International, bringing you the best and brightest leaders of our day. I'm here with Jim Putman, the pastor of Real Life Ministries. How you doing?
I'm doing good. This has been a good conference.
Yeah, it's been awesome. You pastor one of the fastest growing churches in the nation right now. What's God doing in your church?
Well, our goal was to be a disciple-making church. We have a large group service like most churches, but everything focuses down to our small groups where people are discipled with a real intentional process, and they get to know each other, they hold each other accountable, they minister together, and then from that, leaders emerge. As they're discipled, they grow in their character, they're transformed by the Lord, but they also are, their giftings are emerging, and then we're able to put those people in the right spots, and it just becomes kind of a self-feeding release an army on a community thing. Yeah.
Now, you guys have you guys are multi-site?
Well, we have 5 churches, or 6 churches that we've planted.
Oh, okay.
And we just, we raise them up and we release them. If we can't release them to create a leadership there, then we really haven't done our job. We don't want to control them, we want to raise them up and release them.
That's incredible. You do a Friday night service. A lot of churches do Friday night services like a believer service or a prayer service or whatnot, but you do a Friday night service that's just like your Sunday. How did you guys come to that? Because not a whole lot of churches are out there. They're doing Saturday nights, they're doing Sunday nights, but not a whole lot of Friday nights.
Well, Friday night for us was it's kind of a no-brainer. Understanding our context, we live in North Idaho where it's snow or cold. When the sun comes out, people take off, or when there is snow, they're skiing or whatever. When it comes to unsaved people, oftentimes we don't understand what keeps them from coming to church. And Saturday and Sunday are days for them to rest, to be with their family, which are good things. And so what we try to do is say, all right, we're not going to ask you to give up those things, but if you came on Friday night, you could then have Saturday and Sunday with your families. If you ask them to give up something that they really value for something they know nothing about, well, then you're not gonna get them to do it. But by saying, hey, I'm not asking you to give that up, but I'm going to give you another alternative, and then what happens is a lot of those people will go to Friday night service for a while, and then they go to Sunday because their values change.
Yeah.
They really buy into it, like, I get this and it makes a difference, and now I'm going to readjust my whole schedule around the gospel rather than having the gospel readjust its schedule around us.
Now, how many attend those services?
It depends, usually between 2,500 and 3,000. Wow. So we have 2 services on that night.
Wow.
So we have a 5:30 and a 7. And the church people like it as well because they get to be a part of the body. And then, for me, if I wasn't a pastor, think about it. Friday night, go to church, hunt Saturday or Sunday, watch the football games, be with my family. It makes sense even for Christians. So
yeah. Now you seem to understand the culture in which your church is planted, and you understand that they're active in the summer and the winter times and whatnot. Was that by trial and error, or was that by a bunch of the staff getting together and saying, what exactly do the people in our area do, non-believer and whatnot? How did you guys arrive at that conclusion?
Well, it's like hunting. I hunt. If I want to kill an elk, I got to figure out what an elk does. And it's the same thing. And you go on the mission field, you don't go and try to take American values to Ethiopia.
Right. Yeah.
You go and go, what is this group of people about? What are their real needs? What are their perceived needs? And how do I address those? So, yeah, there was some looking at our own lives going, what would work for us? There was some looking at what people had tried in the area before. Saturday night in our area had never worked. Several churches had tried that. There's going to unsaved people and saying, what would you think about a Friday night service? How would you feel about that? And even going to Christians and going, what would you feel good about? What doesn't take away from... Oftentimes we set up our churches so that they actually hurt the family. Wow. What would be better for your family? And they all said, I would love Saturday and Sunday to be with my family. And so there was a variety of different ways we came at this to kind of come to the conclusion.
Wow. You're a team guy. You wrote a book on team ministry. What is it like to be a part of your staff? I mean, what does the team function look like there?
Well, because I'm one of the leaders, it's pretty jacked up at times. I'm not sure what they would say. What I would hope they would say is that when we make decisions, we bring people in, and my job isn't to tell people what to do. We discern God's will through other people. I can only see this much. I don't see the whole picture, which is why we need each other.
Right.
So by bringing people in to say, all right, what is God telling us? And then how are we going to do this together? Then everybody buys in. People don't die for your vision. They die for something that's become their own.
Right.
And they don't live and die for somebody else's vision. So our job is to go, all right, what is God telling us? One of the ways that God speaks to me is through other people. And so I have to listen. I see my part, they see their part, we get the whole picture. And then how are we going to pull this off? What are we going to do here? And people buy into that.
Your church planting network, you guys have just started recently, is that correct?
Well, as we planted churches, then we all want to do something together.
Okay.
So like this latest church, we planted 5, and then we all came together to plant the 6th. And so now it's just the resources, we don't have to come up with them all.
That's great.
We do it together. Now there'll be 6 or 7 of us that will plant the next one. We can do it twice as quick because they're all finding leaders too. They're developing leaders too. So now that church over there will go, hey, we got one. Well, then we all come together to support that. And well, we got one too. And now it just accelerates.
Can I go old school just real quickly on you? You're a wrestler, right?
I was.
You was a wrestler and a wrestling coach, right? Who would you identify yourself more with from the old school wrestlers?
Are you talking about professional wrestling now?
Hulk Hogan.
Totally different.
Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage, or Andre the Giant? Which one are you?
See, for a real wrestler to be asked a question about professional wrestling, I can't even answer that question. I mean, it just kills me. We're not the same thing. Those guys are all crazy.
He's neither nor none of them.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks so much, Jim. I appreciate it.
You bet.
God bless you.
God bless you. Thanks, guys.